first game of the day, and we are going to be moving on to Vortex, of course, the opening map for today. We've seen it plenty, but you're going to be seeing it for the first time today in full length with the 3 spinning blocks on the pipe, and also that little water dip at the exit of the bobsleigh part. There it is. That wasn't present on the easy variants of the maps as well. And then this little platform section, which has also been somewhat widened on the easy section on the easy variant to make it a little bit easier to see. And then this little pipe section with the car shuffling around right to left, depending on which section of the pipe you are on. And yeah, this is going to be very, very interesting. Hello, everyone who just joined in. And welcome to the channel for Big vs Sinners. We're again rolling for Kappa and Tween. If you're following the channel and you want to support Kappa and Tween, there is an emote available, the TMGGEE Sinners emote, that can be spammed to your pleasure if you want to actually support the team and also support myself with a tiny bit of a follow. That's a bit of a cheeky buy-in. But either way, Big Sinners. Playday 5 kicking off with a bit of a, I don't know why, but this is going, as I said, it's going to be a little bit difficult for us to get some solid momentum going, but I believe in Kappa and Tween, and they've really delivered the goods last week, so there's no reason why we couldn't be able to do it again as we move on to our match now. There we go, first round underway. Over the first pipe, Tween currently leading, Kappa moving on to the transfer in 4th position, going very, very high and very safe, actually, through that safe transfer, and he will be losing a ton of time as a result of this. 0.6 of a second of a gap. Tween will be going for the full outside line here on the dirt, recouping a lot of speed on the outside. Will he be going for the bug slide here at the reactor boost part? The answer is a no. Granadi didn't go for it, neither did Massa, but he gets a little bit of airtime as well, so that's not exactly the most ideal part for Massa, and Kappa will be moving up into 3rd place as a result of this. Granadi and Tween. Tween getting slowly but surely left behind by Granadi, but so far, not that bad of an outcome, potentially for Sinners, with just a draw and not any clear advantage for Big on the first round of their map pick. Moving on to this little platform jump right there. Granadi continuing to lead by about 0.2 of a second. Kappa quite a ways down. Is he going to be able to take advantage of a mistake or reel everyone back in on sheer pace? I do not think so. I think the positions will stay as is, unless there is a significant blunder at the very end. Granadi, Tween, Kappa, Massa. This means it will be a draw at the end of the first round, with the first round time being a 105.678. The record in the match here is a 105.212, courtesy of Brent, so running 0.4 off of the current match record. Starting off round number 2 now. Tween getting a solid start. Kappa and Granadi 2nd and 3rd. Massa right there in the mix as well. Now we're going to see a discrepancy of trajectory. Yes, indeed, with the conventional lines for Massa and Granadi, whereas both Tween and Kappa go for the full outside line. No bug slides by anyone just yet, so this is very much really a safer approach. Nobody feeling confident enough to pull off the bug slide here in this matchup anyway. Ooh, Kappa going a little bit dicey through the bobsleigh section. He's going to be losing a tiny bit of speed compared to Granadi, who's going to be sliding into 2nd position, as they're going to be moving on to the next part of the race here, the 3rd sector of the map, with Granadi making the move on Tween. Kappa in 3rd place, sitting pretty, but Massa is not that far down off, as we're moving on to the identity right now with one final corner before the last set of pipes. Granadi getting overtaken by Tween, and Kappa actually reeling in Granadi as well, looking very, very slow off the line there, the wheel player from Germany, and that might be the ace for Sinners, the first ace of the day. Tween finishing with a 105.532 as well to boot. Not a bad time at all. And Sinners takes the lead 4-1. Oh, sorry, I had a little bit of a conniption. Oh, I thought I had a conniption on my connection. Oh, very, very, very big blunder from Massa. Getting sent off of the left-hand side, right-hand side, rather. And that means Granadi is all on his own now to guarantee at least a point, or even try to enforce a draw, which would be the best scenario for Big at this point. But we ain't no rest for the wicked. We must still see how the rest of the map shakes out. Tween going a little bit more conservative compared to Kappa. That allows the group to tie back together. Granadi continuing to lead by about 0.5 second compared to the red duo. Are we going to be seeing any blunders further on? It doesn't seem like it so far. Everybody looking pretty nice and easy. Just Massa having had that very, very big mistake at the end, at the start of the round there, on the very first pipe, just after the start. And Granadi continuing to lead, at least holding the fort for Big and ensuring the draw Tween in second place will finish 3 tenths down. Kappa 6 tenths down. So it's still good points for us. 105.942. Sinners 5. Big 2. Massa played way too much Ascension in the last days. I gotta warn him. That is true. That is true. I think... I don't know if there are many other like that many people that have trained up the Ascension. I know that, well, there's Carl, there might be Bren and stuff like that, but is there really a significant portion of like the Grand League fold that have practicing Ascension right now? I know Masa is. I frequently kind of see these titles and whatnot, but yeah, I'm kind of wondering that. Round number 4. Everybody nicely grouped, and again we're gonna see the group split apart in half. As Kappa and Tween trying to carry as much speed as they can. 268 at the exit of the corner for Tween. No buck slides being pulled off just yet. It seems like Granadi and Massa managing to get a very, very nice entry into the bobsled. So right now, it could be the counter ace for Big as well after conceding that that ace on the second round of the map through the penultimate pipe. Now trying to get the perfect setup. Kappa going for a little bit of a wider exit from that corner. Granadi and Massa with a very clear advantage of 4 tenths of a second compared to the Sinners boys. Oh, Massa, this is looking very much teetering on the edge, and he's going to be crumbling and crashing out at the second obstacle. And that means that an ace has been thrown into the bin by Big. 0.505 being driven by Granadi, which is also a pretty good time, all things considered. But yeah, Massa, it's Massa, that is very, very unfortunate to have that particular blunder throw away a surefire way to even out the playing field for Big. But I mean, it's good for us. We still get to keep our advantage. Massa having a bit of a torrid time through the starts, having to weave a tiny bit in and out. Still on to play for Tween. This time being... no, Kappa was just a bit further behind than I could see. But yeah, Tween again going for that full outside dirt line. Everybody having their own way of negotiating the hill with a bit of a slowdown maybe for Kappa just to get a better exit from there. Keeping toe-to-toe with Massa. Granadi in the meantime has just scythed his way through and completely leaves everyone in the dust. 4 tenths of a second ahead of the rest of the field as he continues to show that he is very well prepared on Vortex. But Massa, Tween, and Kappa are having a little bit of a tussle between themselves for P2, which could be very important here with Granadi in the lead. Massa could try and snatch an ace away for Big. Tween continues to resist as much as he could. Is he going to be able to resist all the way up until the end with the dirt wall, with the grass wall? Right, yes it is. Kappa trying to reel him in. It's too little, too late. 0.424 versus a 0.452. That was a close call. Just less than 0.03 of a second between third and fourth. Could have been a draw. And track point for Sinners. Big managing to get a gap back down to 2 points. But it's still a very, very solid start for Sinners, who could be there to get the map pick from Big on their hands, which would be getting themselves a very, very solid confidence boost, as we would be getting onto our first map pick of the day up next, which would be... Oh, I don't have the proper screenshot apparently, so there you go. Doesn't seem to be working just right. Yeah, doesn't seem that I got the right... Oh, God. I thought it worked fine, my automation. Anyway, it didn't work out that well. We're going to be seeing the next map. Oh, Granadi! Unfortunately for him, completely missed out on the penultimate pipe. We've seen that happen before in Challenger and Regional, and it happened here for Granadi as well. Kappa continuing to hold the lead. Now can Tween hold off Massa for second place? No! Kappa will actually crash out. Massa versus Tween for the lead. It's going to be down to the line. Massa's got more speed. This is going to be not enough for Tween to get back in. At the very least, the draw is secure with Granadi being way too far behind. 28 thousandths of a second. It was a great race, though, between Massa and Tween. It has to be said, 8-6. Right now for Sinners, who continue slowly but surely their progression. Is Massa related to Moda? No, they're completely different. Bit of a slower start for Granadi compared to the rest of the field. Is he going to be able to reel them back in with the transfer? The answer is a big yes, with Massa just going a little bit wider, trying to make it through the checkpoint without touching the pillar. Kappa and Tween going hand in hand through the outside dirt part. Granadi continuing to hold their gap. Oh, that's unfortunate for Kappa. That's a shame. That's a shame for Martin. And Tween didn't get the best exit from the bobsleigh as well. But this time, Massa also touches the top of the CP, so Tween gets back into the action just like that and moves back up into second place. Granadi has checked out because of all of that attrition race. Kappa is way far down the order. He cannot even reach the finish line, I believe. And that means we have to rely on Tween for second place to guarantee at least a point and some damage limitation for Sinners. Watch out for Granadi, though. There could still be some mistakes happening, but not this time on this round. Granadi will make it safe through the identity and take the win with a 0.648. Tween will retain second position. Massa and Kappa third and fourth as well, as we're moving on to 8 to 9. Big managing to reel Sinners back in despite having a very, very torrid time at the start.
Victory.
Track point still for Sinners, but Big are in with a chance of actually getting that map pick back for themselves. They just need a winning scenario, and we know that it is very, very likely here with Massa and Granadi showing a little bit of teething issues, getting the ball rolling here on this first map, but they're able to get themselves back into the groove and back into the march of things as we're moving through round number 8 right now. Tween right in the midst of the pack. A second place individually here for Tween will enable us to go into overtime at the very least on that opening map pick. Tween getting closer and closer to Granadi through the bobsleigh. Massa reeling the Slovak back in second position. This is super tense. Kappa not really in a position to make any attack right now. Massa, he needs to find a better line compared to the German player from Big. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is Tween going to be able to hold off to Massa? Oh, Massa made a very, very critical touch just before the identity. Oh no, Kappa, that's so unfortunate. That's such a shame. That could have been the end of the map right there, but we are going to go into overtime, and Granadi driving a 0.471, dipping into the 0.4 range. Ah, that is pain. That is very, very painful to see for Martin. 10 to 10, first overtime of the day here in the Trackmania Grand League, and the third overtime, I think, overall today in the Trackmania World Tour so far. And here it is basically just whoever scored the most points wins here. Numerical advantage taking precedence. Tween going a little bit shallow there, managing to clear the transfer nice and easy. Kappa carrying so much more speed on the way out. Still sitting in second position. He has to get rid of Granadi for some point. Ooh, Granadi actually oversteering a teensy tiny bit, allowing Kappa to move up into the lead. Now it's Tween's turn to try and make a move, and Massa's going to make that move way easier with a very, very heavy landing into the water. So Tween up to third place. Granadi in second, trying to reel in Kappa. He's managing to do so. Not quite effortlessly, but he's managing to make plenty of time. Hand over fist as we're moving on to the identity very, very narrowly here. Less than a tenth of a second between Kappa and Granadi. Granadi going for a very, very tight entry. Wider exit to carry more speed, but he's going to fall off the side of the pipe. Kappa doesn't make it through either. What is going on? Tween inherits the lead ahead of Massa. Will take the win. Kappa will be falling back down to P4 behind Granadi. Oh, la, 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 la. Overtime number 2 of the day then. And it's not the first time that we got someone ejected in that fashion in this map as well. Even on the easier ones, we've seen someone, actually, it was during the final of the actual championship, of the actual regionals there, a little bit earlier on today on the Trackmania channel. We've seen that. Massa touching the pole on the inside. And so, we'll be dropping back down half a second. That will be a very big, big opportunity for Sinners. Kappa managing to get away with that clip, although Massa will be reeling him back in. So much exit speed compared to Kappa, who had a bit of a torrid time through there. Tween and Granadi going at it, though, for the lead of the race. Massa sitting in third and pretty firmly in third, but Granadi will fall off the edge of the pipe. Tween inherits the lead with the 7/10 advantage over Kappa. Massa in third position now, just behind Martin. Sorry for the stumbling. Oh, Massa touches the outside wall. This has to be it. Surely, no! No way! Tween will be able to win the round at the very least. Massa in second, Granati third. Can Martin try to reel him in at the very least? The answer is a big no. 106.203. 12 to 12. I think you can get your trollers out, chat, because, yeah, it feels like we're going to be here for a while.
Overtime.
Oh, a little bit of a run up there from the spinning block. Oh, Tween, and watch out as well for Kappa Massa. They were looking a little bit touchy on that first pipe right there. And again, Massa with a bit of a slower exit from the transfer will be falling back down 2/10 down compared to his teammate currently leading the race. Ooh, Kappa, that is a very nice landing, but he gets the airtime just like Massa did a couple of rounds ago. Well, back in first round, actually. We're on round number 11 already. This is insane stuff. Granati having a very heavy landing. Kappa cannot take advantage of that, unfortunately. Tween has to dislodge Massa from first place. So far, it's very much too close to call with Massa and Tween continuing to go at it. This is so tense. Granati too far down to have any impact. Tween must not crack under pressure right now. Come on, come on, come on. Third pipe. It looks very good. Oh, Massa with a bit more speed, trying to go for the lower line, trying to go for the snipe of the century at the line! 5,000ths of a second! Tween wins with a .588 versus a .593.
Overtime.
Man, Tween keeping this first map alive for some reason. Oh, wow. Tween is absolutely on point today with the resistance. I was also sure that Massa was gonna be reeling him in, but never give up. Never give up. That's the embodiment of that right now. Tween and Kappa still going for that speedier line through the dirt. Again, Granati Massa scampering away in front. And this time having a more probe advantage right now. Oh, again, Massa having a very slow exit from the water. No! This time it's Tween making the mistake, touching the top. Oh, this is so painful to see. Granati will inherit the lead by half a second. This is big spick, remember. This isn't supposed to take so long for Team Blue. As we're moving on to the identity right now, Kappa sitting in second position, Tween in fourth place, Massa in third. Surely this time it will be the end of the map. And yes, it will indeed be the end of the map with an ace to close things out for Big. Sinners will concede that first map pick. 16 to 13. It went on forever and ever and ever and ever. But at the very least, we can actually move on to something else now. Vortex being taken by Big at the end of a very, very grueling matchup.
Big wins the track.
And thus they take the lead in this best of 7 series. Moving on to our next map, which is going to be, I already forgotten the map order. It is Breaking that will be up next. Just for a quick reference, the record here on Breaking is a 103.002, courtesy of Afi from Team BDS. Just to give you a quick rundown there. So in terms of Breaking, to take a look at the TMGL teams, yeah, there are not 2 appearances, not really any wins so far for either team. It's going to be very much a first to see these 2 teams going head-to-head against each other on that map in particular. As we're set to go in about 30 seconds, and I'm guessing I think we actually got a tactical pause being called in by one of the 2 teams. I'm guessing, because normally we only have a 30-second warm-up timer to actually go through each of the maps, but indeed it seemed to have been extended to 1 minute, so I wonder who actually called in the tactical pause. Might be Sinners, might be Big, we don't really know. Map 2 now getting underway. Big taking a very, very narrow win. I say very narrow because this was their map pick, remember, on the Vortex, and it shouldn't have taken as long as it did. But Sinners did put up a good fight, so Sinners showing themselves under a pretty good light, at least on map number 1. Moving on to Breaking then, the first start. Tween going very, very wide. Nice and tidy line from Marek right there. Martin is also right there in the mix. Massa in P3, Granati P4. Not anything to really split them apart. Now, end of Sector 1 after that reactor boost part. Tween, Masa, Kappa, Granati, still within a tenth of a second of each other. Through the dirt right here. Very nice exit from Granati. Much more exit speed compared to Tween. Will be fighting for the lead versus our Slovak driver. Moving onto the ice slide. Nice and easy. A bit of a wonky exit there for Kappa. And a bit of a slight touch with the left rear on the outside wall in this dirt section right there from Granati. So that will demote the wheel player back into 4th position. Masa and Tween battling for the lead. Can Kappa reel them in? He reels Tween in and Masa in as well, ever so slightly over the ice patch. Now moving on to the identity. Masa going very, very wide there on the verge of hitting the wall. First turn, Kappa, Tween, Masa, they're looking very, very aggressive, very racy. As we move on to the final corner, try to get the best line you can and try to avoid getting reeled in on the outside. And it will be the ace for Sinners with a 113.834. Granati reeled Tween back in for that second place, but it wasn't enough. It was too little too late. 4 thousandths of a second separating top 2 and top 3. Sinners with a very, very strong start there on their map pick. Nobody touching the inside circle nor the wall on the outside through that very, very tight area before the reset block. Masa taking a bit of a different approach, taking a straighter path through that chicane subsequently. Masa Tween for a second. Granati down to 4th position, going a little bit wide before the entry into the dirt section, but recouping that speed at the exit to get back into the clutches of Kappa. Masa and Tween going wheel to wheel. Through the ice slide, Granati with a bit of a wider entry, try to get go for a later apex. To get earlier down onto the dirt, doesn't really pay off there for Granati, and he touches the wall again, so he's not going to be any use for his teammate who's having to fight on his own versus Kappa and Tween. Trying to recoup a little bit more speed with an outer line on the drop down. Everybody getting a fairly equivalent speed, but Tween not having the best amount of grip compared to Masa over that icy wheel section. Identity, first corner. Nicely negotiated. Kappa still in the lead. Masa overtaking Tween. Can Tween try to reel him back in? The answer is a big no. Masa will be slotting himself in between Marek and Martin. And a .278. Great time by Kappa right there to ensure the victory for Sinners. 5-1. Moving on to round 3 then. Granati the closest man to the battle up front. Masa having lost a teensy tiny bit with the slight deviation of trajectory. And 2 very different approaches here again between the 2 teams. This time, Kappa and Tween going for the full inside line, whereas Masa and Granati go for the more straighter path to recoup a bit more speed going back onto the ground as we're moving on to the ice part now. Still Tween Kappa, first and second. Granati trying to go for a very, very aggressive ice slide on the exit right there. Masa going toe-to-toe with Kappa at the moment, overtaking him for second position. Look at the speed from Granati. This time he keeps it off the wall in the dirt, and that is going to be very, very tense now. Less than 2 tenths between first and last. And Kappa getting reeled in by Masa, taking a little bit too much snow on the way in to that icy section there, Kappa. Masa weaving all over the track to keep ground contact as much as possible. Tween down in 4th place, 4 tenths down. Kappa versus Masa. Masa scampering away into the distance, and Granati actually reeling in Martin. Can Martin try to pull something special? He's right neck and neck. Granati going a bit too wide to the line. Kappa takes the win with a .368, and both of the big teammates have tied as well, ensuring the draw and preventing Big from getting back in on the action to close the gap back down. Great, great stuff. Through the start section, Masa, Granati, 1st through 4th. Ooh, Granati going a little bit close to that barrier on the outside there. But look at the speed that he's able to accumulate along with Masa. Ooh, Kappa having a very, very slow corner there just before the negative camber section before the dirt. So it will be all down to Tween to try and ensure at the very least the points here on this round through the ice slide. And look at Granati going so close to the circle on the inside. This is going to be very, very dicey. Oh no, Tween. That is very, very unfortunate stuff there from Marek. Hitting the neon sign head on. Now it's time for Kappa to step in and to try and salvage a point from that situation. This is going to be a little bit closer of a call. We know that he's able to try and reel some people back in. No, he floats over the... didn't get the proper entry into the footbath section right there. So Massa and Granadi are guaranteed an ace no matter what, as long as they don't stack it in the final corner. Massa looking pretty safe. He knows he can basically just cruise home, and it will be a time of a 1:13.6 for Massa. Granadi sitting in second position, meaning that they slash the gap back to a single point between themselves and Sinners, who continue to lead. So Massa and the Granadi back in a somewhat threatening position here for us. Ooh, this is looking pretty tense again. And Massa, this time emerging the clear winner of that particular start section, moving a 10th ahead of the rest of the field as we move on to this water glider section right there. Massa continuing to retain the lead, but it's a really, really tense fight for second position between Granadi, Kappa, and Massa, and that battle is set to be expanded to a four-way fight if Massa can't up the pace. Right now, he's getting slowly but surely reeled in and caught up by the chasing pack down on second through fourth, and now Tween making the move for the lead versus Massa. Kappa Granadi battling for third place. Outside line for Kappa, kicking a bit more speed on the way in. Oh, what a heavy flip from Massa! That promotes Tween up into the lead of the race, and Kappa up into second place as well. Watch out for the identity. We still have Granadi with a bit more speed compared to Kappa through that first corner. He's going to be looking very, very racy right now as we move on to the final corner. Can Kappa resist up until the end? The answer is no. Granadi overwhelms him, and Tween was looking very slow. Oh my god, Marek, don't do that, please. He was looking very slow just before the slope into the finish line. And this means that he will be at least very much ensuring a victory for Sinners that allows them to bring the gap back up to 2 points, 8-6. And track point number 2 attempt for Sinners to get that first map on the board again. Just need to get the ball rolling there. First sector done. Ooh, Granadi looking a little bit racy. Kappa going all over the road, close to hitting the outside wall right there. And everybody nicely packed together before the ice slide. 1/10 through first through last. Tween continuing to hold the lead very temporarily, though, as Granadi is looking very, very strong with that ice exit before the dirt. And so the wheel player will take the lead just up ahead of Massa, Kappa, and Tween, who are having a tussle of their own. It's still very much too close to call. Tween a bit slower compared to Kappa, but he takes too much snow on the way in. Oh, Granadi touching on the inside wall, promoting Tween and Kappa up into second and third. Massa continuing to hold the lead. Now, can Tween and Kappa reel him in? That's the main question. They need to pull something special. No, Kappa full stop picks it to the neon side. Massa versus Tween. Massa will be able to take a handy win individually with a time of 1:13.408. Tween does secure the second position and the point that comes with it, though. So Sinners continue to lead 9-8. Still on map point, but so are Big. And already a pretty big slowdown, and that comes on the wrong side of the fence for us. It is Tween who barely brushed the wall on the inside of the circle, and the acceleration penalty was enough to do the damage. So Kappa has to fight for the win regardless. We can't let an ace slip up the way of Big, otherwise it would be disastrous for the momentum, as we will be moving back onto a big pick afterwards. And Granadi's gonna make the job way easier and actually be forced to respawn. He clipped the CP as soon as he actually triggered it. So now we're in a bit more of a breathable position with Massa and Kappa still battling for the lead. Kappa this time having the advantage. Tween in third place. Granadi not that far off though from Tween, so we have to still be very, very wary of Nico moving back in. But Martin looks very, very solid. He needs to make it all the way home. A little bit of a bounce there compared to Massa, just keeping ground contact at all times by weaving. Massa reeling Kappa in, and he's just going to overtake him for the lead. Look at the speed he carries through. Tween is still in third position as Massa takes the lead. He's going to go wide, but he's going to take the win. 0.744, and it will be the win for Sinners, taking their first map of the best of 7 series, 10-9. After narrowly missing out on taking the pick from Big on map 1. They take their own map pick to get themselves back in the groove as we're going to be moving on to map number 3. The pick from Massa and Granadi, which is going to be Pool. Now this one is going to be a bit of an interesting one. Pool, the world record currently is a 105.164, courtesy of Gwen. And if I take from the Grand League stats so far, 67% of the map win here in terms of win rate. 2 out of 3 times this map has been won by Big, and Sinners have only played it once, but they still stand on a 100% win record because they did win on their first appearance. In terms of average, it's still kind of like extrapolating data from some missing rounds, but 105.696 of average time for Sinners compared to 106.040 for Big Clan. We gotta make it count. So, back to a proverbial best of 5 then, with Sinners and Big having won 1 map apiece. Now, going through that left-hander, this time you see the little pinch in the road that you didn't see in the easy maps earlier on during the regionals. First sector, separated by just a 10th. Massa, Twin, Kappa, Granadi in that order. Moving on to the little dip in the water before the slide cancel. Oh, Kappa tried to go a little bit too close to the inside, so he's going to hit the wall. Gets sent back down to P4, but doesn't lose too much of that much time, actually. In fact, I thought he was going to be well out of the running. I mean, 3/10 is still a big ask, but it's still somewhat doable. Tween and Massa still battling for first and second, with Massa currently having the upper hand, trying to go for the full outside line in the dirt to recoup a bit more speed on the way out into a much tighter line through that bubble road section. Identity coming in now. Here we go then. Tween and Massa battling for the lead. Granadi also trying to reel him back in. Look at Granadi's speed right now. He's reeling Tween in. Moving on to the last few sections. Massa going a little bit wider, touching the wall. Granadi trying to fly to the rescue of Big. It's not going to happen. And Kappa moving up to third as well to boot. It will be the win for Sinners, who take the lead early on. So far, no casualty to be reported on the start. We have seen a few people break their teeth there on the that little convex block that funnels down into that first checkpoint. Kappa getting a little bit left behind at the end of sector. Now 1, 2 tenths down on the leading trio. Tween very much into the thick of the action. Looking very, very strong out there. Keeping himself within a 10th of the big duo. Onto the dirt part, reeling Granadi in. Massa trying to go again for that outer line to set himself up for the long left-hander that follows it. Tween still in the lead after that section. The identity, though, is going to be a whole different matter. Tween, Massa, Granadi, they're within each other's ghost right now. This is so tense. Slide cancel. Can Kappa reel everyone back in or take advantage of a mistake? Tween versus Granadi to the line. And again, Tween delivering the goods. Oh my god. Oh my god. The time for Tween. 0.187. 0.187 being driven by Tween. We're getting closer and closer to that world record. 0.164 is the time, remember, to beat for a new match record courtesy of Gwen. Okay, come on, internet. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, it's having a little bit of a connection. I'm sorry, guys, but it is having a bit of struggle. Okay, we're back. Sorry for that little interruption. A little bit of bandwidth restriction going on there. Slide cancel, and you can see Massa Granadi first and second looking very, very solid up front. But Tween is also trying to reel him back in. So is Kappa. They're just 2 tenths down. It's still all to play for. A simple deviation from Massa Granadi, or even the slightest wall touch, would actually send us back in the game. And actually, Tween doesn't even want to wait for that. He just goes for the move outright, trying to move ahead of Granadi in second position. And Kappa is also joining in the mix. Identity, Massa going full outside. Tween on the verge of actually brushing the cube with the right side. Slide cancel, Massa, Tween, Kappa. Granadi clipping at the outside. Can Massa hold on? He's going to go a little bit wide. Yes, he holds on. It's another draw. 0.276. The times are very, very solid here. And 0.378 and a 0.394, I think it was, for Kappa and Tween in that order, second and third place. And still Sinners continuing to lead by that singular point, but yeah, not really any kind of tendency to be able to break away from that particular situation, especially with Granadi and Massa getting themselves settled in to that map as time goes on. Kappa Tween first and second. Third and fourth, Masa and Granadi. And Sector 1, slide cancel. Ooh, Granadi going very, very aggro there. Forced to release a teensy tiny bit to avoid hitting the wall. Kappa and Tween will retain the first and second positions, but Granadi is now within the clutches of Tween. It's still all to play for, just a 10th between first and last right now. Masa looking to try and make the biggest gains here in the field in this round. But he's quite a far ways back. Identity coming up. This will be his chance to shine. In the meantime, for Kappa and Tween, we gotta pray. We gotta pray here in chat to continue believing in Kappa and Tween supremacy. Granadi trying to get closer and closer to Kappa and Tween. Tween getting reeled in slowly by Granadi, but it's not enough. Kappa and Tween will win with a .243 and a .307 and a second ace here on pool. And with that, map point once again for Sinners. We could take the map series lead here. Let's go indeed. We are getting very, very competitive out there for now in these early stages of the match. Slide cancel coming in. Right now, it is the blue duo leading out in first and second, but not really anything to write home about in terms of margins for Masa and Granadi. Still a 10th just between first and last. Although there are two separate groups, but we know the identity is really a big shuffler here in this particular round. Can Tween and Kappa take that to their advantage? Let's see. And Kappa gets... Oh, Kappa doesn't get the proper entry into there. Tween also gets overtaken by both Masa and Granadi. Can he overtake them both back? No, he's going to go too wide and hit the wall. And that's going to be the win for Masa and Granadi with a .218 and a .251. And so the gap winds back down to just a single point between Sinners and Big, with the counter ace coming in immediately.
Track point, Sinners.
But still, Sinners retain the map point. They retain at least a singular point of a buffer between themselves and the Big duo. Allez, on y croit. Going through the pinch there. Masa taking the lead at the end of Sector 1. Kappa, Tween, Granadi. Very, very close in pursuit. Less than half a 10th between first and last. Ooh, Tween forced to play with the throttle. You could hear him try to roll on and off the throttle going... He had to really play with that throttle button very, very nicely if he wanted to avoid hitting the wall on the outside. Masa, Kappa, Granadi, Tween. Granadi and Tween, this is the hottest battle on track at the moment, going neck and neck for third place. And now Tween trying to reel in Kappa and Masa for the benefit of the lead. Masa deposing Kappa of said lead. Moving on to the identity right now. Kappa did not get the best of entries into there. Tween either didn't get the best of exits. Granadi moving up into second place as a result of this. Now the last few sectors, Granadi will hit the cube. Masa will still win the round, but it will be a draw at the very end of it thanks to that mistake from Granadi. 8-7 now. Big also are on map points. Now it is a critical time on this map. We must not let Big get away with the ace at any cost. This is a prime opportunity to beat them on their own turf. Through the pinch. Onto the first sector. Masa, Tween, Granadi. Masa getting a little bit of room to breathe. But how long will he be able to make that room stay afloat? Granadi and Tween still very much locked in the battle. Oh, big mistake from Masa! Big touch from Masa right there. This could be the catalyst for us to potentially capitalize on that. We need to get ahead of Granadi though. Tween working on that for sure. Going toe-to-toe with Nico Giamatti. In the meantime, Martin follows with a keen eye the proceedings. And currently, Granadi, Tween, Kappa, that's the order. Coming onto the identity now. Granadi still holding the lead, but by a pretty slender margin of less than a 10th of a second. Tween going for the slide cancel a little bit earlier. Granadi continuing to lead. It looks as though it will be another draw heading our way, and it will indeed be a set draw. .388 for Granadi winning and keeping Big afloat in the pool for one more round. Round number 8 underway. 8 to 9 every single map so far. Yeah. Let's hope we are on the right side of the fence this time around as we're moving on to round number 8, which will be potentially the last round here on pool. Map number 3 in this series. First sector, Granadi, Kappa, Masa, Tween. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tween getting a little bit distanced by the rest of the pack. Now Masa slotting into second position just behind his teammate. A slide cancel. Tween trying to get a better exit compared to the rest. Granadi looking very, very slow, allowing Kappa to move through. Masa to move through. Kappa is also moving through on Tween for third position. Oh, we gotta pull something special at the identity there. Masa and Granadi are dialed in now. We have to be on our A game now. Identity coming in after this corner. Everybody going for the risky slide on the outside. Masa leading. Granadi moving up to second just ahead of Tween. Can we try to retaliate and actually get at the very least a draw? Masa and Granadi. Granadi going a little bit too far on the outside. No, it's going to be the ace for Big. They're going to salvage that back from the brink of death. 0.325 and they finish all tied up at the finish line hand in hand. We gave it our all, but in the end, very, very narrow loss to Big. 11 to 9. And Big retake the lead in the proceeding as we're moving on to map number 4. That map being, of course, picked by Sinners. That being Airwalk. Airwalk is a map where we felt very, very comfortable on during the All-Star Championship, right up until we ran against the immovable wall that it was the Alliance in the grand final of the All-Star Championship. Just to give a little bit of a rundown of the best time here on this map. Let me just try to get the proper sheet here. And Airwalk, the world record is a 0.223 by Gwen, but at some point, Tween also held the record on this map. Tween, the best time from him, if I can actually find it, it's a 108.349, so not too shabby performance from Marek, as we do have a tactical pause currently ongoing, asked by one of the teams. And so actually that gives me a little bit of time to thank you guys for still being there with me with the match that I'm going to be casting for today, Sinners versus Big, of course. And I hope you don't mind me sounding not quite out of breath, but getting a little bit more deeper as time goes on. It's simply because, yeah, I've been casting for 2 days straight, so yeah, the throat does take a little bit of a hefty hit. In the meantime, map number 4 underway. This is the chance for Sinners to get back on an even footing. Everybody going for the left side bumper at the start. Whole shot will be for Sinners. Ooh, it seems as though Masa went a little bit wide. That was Granadi actually going a little bit wide. Didn't have the name tags. First sector done. It will be between Masa, Kappa. 1, 2, 3. Granadi a little bit further behind in P4, but around 2/10 away. Trying to set yourself up for the double right-hander. Masa lifting a little bit to get earlier ground contact and earlier acceleration, but he will concede second place to Kappa as a result of this. 2/10 of a gap between the top 2 and the bottom 2 right now, with Kappa and Tween making the best of that particular opportunity that they have. Final sector coming in, Kappa going super close to the inside, hugging the apex, hugging the inside wall as we're moving on to the penultimate bumper section. Masa trying to make a charge for the front here, moving through the 2 poles, a little bit off to the right-hand side for Kappa and Tween. Identity coming up, a little bit of a clip for Tween, I think. Masa is right there for the taking to try and take second position away from Marek. Kappa, Tween, first and second. Can Tween hold on to second place? The answer is a no for a few hundredths of a second. That was looking so close to call. 0.438 right out of the gates for Kappa as well. It will be the victory for Sinners still, who take the early lead. Ooh, Masa having a little bit of a wiggle there before moving on to the plastic part. He will concede 3/10 as a result of that correction. In the meantime, the top 3 are within each other's ghosts. Hanadi continuing to have the edge over our duo right there, and trying to pull a little bit of a gap on everyone, keeping around the outside of the bank corner. Through the dirt. Kappa and Tween trying to go for a bit more of an aggro line. Kappa again going full inside. Tween also getting a little bit antsy there, catching up to Granadi. Granadi trying to open up the corner as widely as he can to carry a bit more speed. Oh, Kappa's been forced to release to avoid hitting the pole. That's for sure. He's going to be losing a ton of time and allow Masa to move back in. Tween overtaking Granadi just before the identity. But can he make that lead stick? He needs to go very, very low at the bumper. He's going to be able to make it very barely, but Granadi takes opportunity into his hands and takes the way with a .411. Nice times being driven all around. and it's going to be a draw. Tween was very much on the ragged edge of being falling onto the map, onto the rest of the map, if he had missed a bumper. And also the exit from that bumper was far from ideal. He managed to salvage it, so kudos to him for that, but could have been a solid victory for that. In the end, it ended up being a draw, which is still beneficial for us. This time it's Granadi's turn to be on the back foot at the start. Not conceding as much time as Massa did in the previous round, just 2 tenths down on the leading trio. And Massa getting a very, very nice tight line on that double right through the CP. But Kappa and Tween are not relenting any pressure. They're not letting off any time on the table. Kappa going close to the checkpoint on the inside line. Massa continuing to hold the lead. Now, can we open up the corner a little bit wider? Massa going a little bit wider than Kappa does, going a little bit more conservative to manage the jump before the bumpers. Now, Identity. Here we go. Massa's going to be a little bit difficult to dethrone unless Kappa goes for the very, very early bumper. But Massa does have a much better line through there. But Massa hits the girders below the grandstands, giving the ace to Sinners. 6-2. Yeah, it is always a little bit difficult to spectate that Identity, even from the helicopter view. So bear with me with the guerrilla-style videography. Tween this time getting left a tiny bit behind. Around the same gap as Granadi last time around to the top 3 positions. Ooh, Kappa going so close to the inside, but he did not manage it to get a perfect line through there. He actually scrubbed up too much speed on the landing. Massa, in the meantime, had full grip, allowing him to move through into the lead, and Kappa hitting the side of the road, edge of the roadblock, will be dropping back down to P4. It's all up to Tween now to try and salvage a point from that. And actually, Tween managing to make some pretty big inroads onto Granadi's lead for second place. Oh, Massa! That landing was very, very sketchy, and it's very, very slow indeed. Tween can pull something special out here in the Identity. Here we go! Tween trying to go for the lowest bumper possible, but so is Granadi, and he's gonna miss the bumper outright. This is gonna be the ace for Massa and Granadi. No, Massa's been forced to respawn. Kappa in second place. Tween up to third. I thought we were actually done for, but no. Thanks, Massa. Very cool.
Draw.
7-3 then, and Sinners on another map point this time.
Point. Sinners.
I wasn't expecting it to happen, but it did happen, and we are there to take advantage of that. Ooh, we're getting very close to the clip edge there on the jump into the plastic part for Kappa. Kappa, Tween in third and fourth, but everybody regrouped within a tenth of a second, so it's still all to play for at the end of sector number 1. And this time it's Kappa and Tween's turn to have a much better line compared to that of Massa, who's going all over the shot and will concede 0.3 of a second then and there. Meanwhile, our boys are reeling in Granadi and sandwiching him for second position. Could we try to get an ace to actually conclude that map a little bit earlier on than we did on breaking? We're gonna have to find out. Ooh, Tween, watch out to not hit the pole on the side. No, but Granadi is also right there in the mix, so Identity is gonna be crucial here. 16 thousandths between first and third. Kappa trying to go for a lower line. Same for Granadi and Tween, I imagine. Look at the bumper. It's picture perfect for Kappa. Granadi's right there to snipe Tween for second place, though, by a few hundredths of a second. So it's still Sinners leading by 5 points now, 9-4. That second map has never been closer. Oh, okay. I didn't expect that to happen. Everybody going for the left-hand bumper, but Granadi being given the, like, you know what? I think you'll be better off on the right-hand side. So there you go. Didn't lose that much time in change, but still, like, it was a very, very odd occurrence to happen. Now, all Sinners need is the point for second position. They must not let Big get the ace to reel them back in. And I think these guys know them more than anyone else. Over the banking, keeping it somewhat wide. Kappa and Massa still toe-to-toe for the lead. Tween still in third. A little bit of a ways away from Granadi. Ooh, watch out to not clip on the inside there, Marek. Oh my god, that is so close. Massa and Kappa still first and second. This time Kappa taking the edge over the German player from Big as we move through the penultimate bumper section before the Identity. Massa, Kappa, Tween in disorder. Identity coming up. Who's gonna go the lowest? Tween trying to go the lowest of anyone, trying to get ahead of Massa. It's not gonna matter where Massa finishes, as Granati is way too far down, but we finished with an ace in style, taking the map 12-4 then, and evening the scales once again in the best of 7 series, 12-4 on Airwalk. That means we're gonna be moving on to the last salvo of maps picked by each team. We're gonna be moving back onto a big pick for map number 5. And this map is going to be Control. Control is a map where Kappa used to be the world record holder on there. He did drive a 110.390. That was back until up until the Carmine Corp went and obliterated that, with Ota currently detaining the record with a .292, driven by the youngster from Samalo. Meanwhile, let's actually try to get the stats for each team on Control here in TMGL. So on Big side, it is a 100% win rate for that map. 3 times this map has been played, 3 times they've won. On Sinners, we're sitting more on a 1 out of 3 win chance. So yeah, this is going to be somewhat tense. Although the average looks a little bit higher, remember that they are kind of extrapolated from some missing rounds. So we have to wait and see what it is like in situ as we're moving on to track number 5, which is already underway with round 1. First sector, trying to watch out over the bubble. Oh, Kappa didn't get the slide that he wanted to, so he's going to be falling back down like a stone in the order. Down to last place he goes. He's going to have to retaliate and try to catch some of that time back in the next few sectors. Massa trying to make a run for freedom ahead of his teammate, currently locked in a battle with Granati. Oh, Tween going very, very wide out there. That could have been catastrophic for Marek. But right now, it's very much a dominance display of driving from Massa and Granati toe-to-toe for the lead of the race. And yeah, quite a ways away from our boys right there, who don't really have anything to answer back to in terms of pace for now, at the very least, as Massa and Granati move on to the Identity and the first of 2 vert plants right there. Granati going very, very low indeed. Tween trying to reel Massa back in. It's not going to be enough. Too little, too late, unless there's a significant mishap at the Identity right there. Granati, Massa first and second. And yeah, indeed, Granati .492. Oh, right, you're right. The all category world record has been beaten by Panda with a .205, which makes it, I think, the first map where the overall match record is on the TMCL camp, because the current TMGL record still stands at a .292, I think, from OTAC. So yeah, we're talking about TMGL record. I was talking about TMGL record when I mentioned the time from OTAC. Completely checked out about the fact that Panda indeed beat the world record yesterday during the Challenger League matches. In the meantime, first sector done, it will be Massa, Granati, Kappa. 1, 2, 3. Tween being left a little bit behind in P4. Now, can we catch back up to Massa and Granati? For now, Granati looks a little bit sluggish into that platform jump. Watch out for the ace of the bobsleigh. Oh, Massa, watch out to not hit the right-hand side wall. He managed to keep it out, but Granati is also very, very much pressing on the issue versus Kappa to try and retake second position away from his hands. Now Kappa trying to mount a challenge versus Massa for the lead as we're moving on to the last part of the map in the Identity right now. And Tween is also right there in the clutches of Granati, so we could still salvage a point from all that. Moving on to the Identity, Granati going very, very low compared to Kappa, but he's going to be conceding second place for now. Can we try to get a point from that? Oh, big mistake from Kappa, unfortunately for us. Can Tween try to get into the line? We got him by 42... Well, 12 thousandths of a second. At the very least, we got a draw from, we got a point from that. My goodness, that was so close. No ace indeed. We got saved. Saved by the bell. Massa, Kappa now at the end of sector 1, just before the bubble. Oh, Kappa getting too much airtime and actually landing with the back tires first, having a very, very harsh 2-step landing with the nose, crashing heavily down onto the ground, so he will be half a second down on his current teammates leading the race. But Massa, with a much better line and much better landing, will be able to scoop by and take that first place for himself. Granadi going very wide there, setting himself up for the double right-hander. Nice and easy. And again, it seems like we're going to have to tank that particular map because Big are looking very, very strong out there. I think that's the first time that we're going to get very much our butts handed to us with that particular map pick from Big looking very much in their favor compared to the previous two map picks from Big, where it went very much nip and tuck up until one last round decided it all, either on overtime or in a 9-point scenario. 0.528 for Masa winning the round ahead of Granadi by 1/10. Tween and Kappa 3rd and 4th, and they will be on match point number 3 here, Big.
Track point, Big.
Track point for Big, and yeah, they look pretty poised to make it 3 maps so far in this series. We will have a chance to retaliate on the penultimate map of this best of 7 series, though it will be capital for us to actually win it if we want to try to squeeze out a win and maybe an upset win versus the current championship leaders. But right now, through this round, Granadi looking a teensy bit behind, but actually nobody getting left behind significantly here. Just a 10.5 between first and last, with Masa currently holding the lead. Tween in second position, going toe-to-toe. Granadi going very, very high there. But also Masa as well. Tween taking over the lead, trying to keep the dream alive for at least one more round, trying to salvage one extra point from this. Oh, Kappa forced to release very, very dramatically there. We can't dwell on the past, Aramang. We gotta look forward. That's the main thing. Masa Granadi first and second. Masa Tween first and second. Tween overtaken by Masa. Can he try to retaliate and take the gap back on the identity? Last jump versus Masa. Can he try to make it happen with a tighter finish? The answer is a no, unfortunately. But for 50 thousandths of a second, you gotta give a round of applause to Marek because he's really giving it his all. 10-2. It will be Big taking that map. Map number 5. Going to Team Blue.
Wins the track.
Big wins the track, which means we move on to map 6, our last map that we can actually try to salvage to force this onto game number 7. It will be Off-Road up next, and it's a bit of a, not quite a wild card, but it is a map that is very well known for attrition. The stat is actually staggering for TM, well, for TMGL, it's not that much attrition compared to braking, for instance, but over the course of the entire map's existence, 8.2% of DNS, All-Stars, and TMGL combined have been happening on this map alone. So yeah, fair bit more regu during the actual regular season, but still, we could see quite the upsets happening and the rounds going one way or the other. So this is going to be very, very, very tangential there, and it is going to be a pivotal moment in this game if we are able to come back from this. Full shot will be for Kappa and Tween with a .312 and a .334. Masa going very slow at the exit of that particular dirt part, and he will be left behind by 4/10 at the exit of sector number 1. Granadi is the only man to try and pick up the slack for Big and try to salvage a point or even force a draw from this. Top 3 are really nicely grouped though. Through the triangle line, Granadi making it through nice and easy. Kappa with a bit more speed before we go onto the ice slide. Kappa and Tween going a little bit higher compared to Granadi. Now, can Kappa try to reel him in? The identity's coming up now. I wonder if we're able to pull something special into there. Now, Granadi still leading by about 0.03 of a second. Tween a little bit further behind. Here we go through the first section, then the second section of the identity. Then you make this long right-hander slaloming through the trees, trying to make it through the gates and through the trees, indeed. And it will be a .428 for Granadi right out of the gates. We're 0.3 away from the current TMGL record, I think, or from the all-time record, even from this particular map, with a 59.153 driven by ITB's Mime. Thus, we continue our assault for that second win of the season. Oh, and already a big mistake that's going to simplify the task for us, with Granadi having clobbered the wall very heavily before the end of Sector 1 of the downhill. Masa is left on his own to try and salvage another draw for Big. Ooh, very wide entry to the CP line. Could have been very costly if he hit the neon side on. Masa continuing to hold the lead of about half a tenth compared to Tween through the ice slide. Can Kappa try to make it a 3-way fight? I don't think so. Now, Masa versus Tween. This is a bit more of a closer contest. Can we make the move happen, though? They're going toe-to-toe. They're within each other's ghosts. Masa getting sent back down to second position. Can Tween hold on for dear life until the line? The answer is a yes with a .558. We take the narrow margin for us, and we take the lead, 3-2.
Victory.
Man, we keep the dream alive right up until the bitter end. And remember, we are the opening game, folks. We are the opening game. I wonder if other games are going to be more exciting than that. So far, nothing to split the two teams apart. Just half a tenth separating first from last. Currently, Tween at the tail end of that group. Masa Granati moving up into first and second this time, releasing Kappa from second position. Onto the ice slide, Kappa going a little bit higher. Granati trying to carry a bit more excess speed, but he gets significant airtime. And look at Tween passing by both Masa and Granati, who have had troubles of their own. But Masa is trying to go for the ultimate send. Doesn't really work out so far. He's going to get a little bit better exit speed before the identity. But is it too little too late for the German? Is it going to be good for us for the second ace? Kappa getting reeled in by Masa for second position. Tween is going to try to hold on for dear life. Same for Kappa to the line. And it will keep the ace for 1,000th of a second. 0.574 versus a 0.575 for Masa. 6-2. My goodness. Heart rate is getting higher and higher by the minute. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know. You might be making fun of me for stumbling over my words, but that's what I get for being with Asperger's syndrome, eh? But I live with it. And I do what I love with it, and I hope you guys are enjoying that fact. First through fourth, Kappa, Granati, Tween, and Masa in that order. Granati currently leading. Tween and Kappa looking very, very racy. Masa also trying to make a comeback happen. Kappa going a little bit high. Oh, Masa trying to carry so much speed, but he's going to be forced to release quite heavily. Kappa getting falling back into the clutches of Masa, who again has not quite a most ideal line through that line. Through that double right-hander or left-hander in the banking. But Tween, in the meantime, while we were talking about that, makes the move on Granati happen for the lead of the race. And he's going to take the win individually with Kappa third. It will be the win for Sinners in that round with a .367 as well. Masa, completely mudded, does not reach the finish line. 8-3 for Sinners. Map point number 3. The one that could take us to one final map to decide if we get our second win of the season and keep on building the momentum that we have with ourselves after the win 4-2 versus Myman Elcon last week. So far, so good in the start, everybody. Nicely packed together, so it will be a good race. First sector done, just half a tenth between first and last. We've been there before. Watch out for the last few sectors where there are few surprises to be sprung the way of everyone. Tween this time at the tail end of the leading group, still just separated by a tenth of a second. Malali Masa trying to take the upper hand. Tween losing the grip, managing to salvage that nicely, but he's going to lose a ton of time. It's all down to Kappa to prevent the ace from happening for Big. Oh, Masa again trying to go for that alternative line. It doesn't really work because it gets overtaken by Kappa. And actually, Granati trying to make a move happen on Nico Giamatti as well. Kappa, can he try to make the move happen? Martin Krompold versus Dennis Lotsa for third place. Second place to the line. Masa will crash out, gifting the draw. 9-4. The advantage still stands at 5 points for Sinners. Track point Sinners. It's our map to lose. We can't let this one slip away. We've got to do it for that Game 7. Go on, guys. Go on. Masa this time with a clear lead. All we need is a second position individually, and that's it. We've got that map in the bag, and we go to Game 7. This is probably the best case scenario for us. Again, sorry for the little connection drops here and there. I hope you guys are not too much impacted. This time Kappa getting left behind significantly. Tween has to pull something special. He has to keep tabs with Granadi and Massa. Going for a very low line at the exit of the ice line to go for an early booster. Interesting strategy. Again, Massa going for that full send line, but that might be proving his undoing, especially Granadi cannot exactly contain Tween behind. It's a battle for second, the battle for the win of the map. Granadi versus Tween. Come on, Marek. Come on, Marek. Tween to the line. No, he's going to lose out by a few thousandths of a second. Oh, that is such a heartbreaking finish to see. Big climb back to just 2 points, and they are also on map point and more importantly, match point for today. Keep it going. We believe, ladies and gentlemen, we can still make it happen. First sector. Granadi down in last place, just separated by 7 thousandths of a second, or 100th of a second rather, from the lead. Massa taking over the lead just before the jump onto the platform part. Now onto the triangle line. Massa, Kappa, Granadi. Oh, Granadi reeling everyone in. This is looking super scary. Kappa going so close to the inside line of the ice slide. Massa getting reeled in at the exit before the plastic part. So Kappa is stealing with a chance of securing that win. Massa again going for that full send line. This could benefit us in the long run. Kappa taking the lead and now trying to make it the ace. Kappa, Granadi, Massa, Tween. Come on, Marek. Come on, Martin. We can do this. First place is going to be ours for sure. Massa tries to reel him in. It's too little, too late. We win with a .338, and actually we take the victory as well with Tween sniping Granadi at the line. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 7.
Wins the track.
What a rush. What a ride. The decider will be Grip. Record on this map courtesy of Afi, a 101.241. If we take the TMGL stats, this is a map where it's been a bit half and half for Big Clan with a 50% win rate after 4 appearances on that map. Sinners in the meantime are yet to crack the nut and take their win on this particular map. They were very close though versus ITB. This is very much a true stamina test, this opening game, for both Sinners and for Big as well. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Maybe you don't enjoy the commentary. I don't know. I hope I'm still doing a good job to call the action despite all the pauses. I don't care. Sinners are on the verge of potentially trying to salvage that second win from the season that could actually put us in a pretty good chance of fighting still for one last place in the playoffs. Ring checkpoint being taken. Alright, navigating a series of hills. This is the first time that we see them in situ as well in the long version of the maps compared to the regionals where it's completely flat grass on the first part. And also we see the transfer for the first time. Tween getting a pretty solid first transfer, so he will lead ahead of Granadi, Massa, and Kappa, though Granadi will reel him in as everybody goes for the inside line. Kappa, ooh, actually solid XXP from the plastic from Martin, so that means he will be able to catch back up to the top 4 group. There we go. Now, onto the Pédiluve section in French, so the foot bath. And look at the line from Tween. Oh, this is so clean from Marek. Identity, this is still too close to call. Less than 2 tenths between first and last. Tween versus Kappa. They're slowly getting reeled in by Granadi and Big. Kappa going a little bit too wide. It's all down to Tween now to hold the fort, but he's going to slide out as well. Granadi and Massa. No, Massa hits the wall. Kappa and Tween move up to second and third. Granadi wins, but it will be the draw thanks to Massa's blunder touching the side of the pole just before getting the car back down for the final corner. Oh my god, that could have been a bit of a devastating shunt to the scoreboard there, but luckily we escape it. Now this jump right there is also very, very tricky. Granadi a fair bit down on the order after the start of the race right now. His teammate Massa going toe-to-toe with Kappa will be ahead of the split in the first sector. Tween getting reeled in by Granadi. Everybody going for the inside line. Kappa on the verge of clipping. This line is so risky because you also have the pulls to worry about. Remember, guys, this isn't like the easy maps where you can just basically take the free reign. You have obstacles to circumvent in order to get the line that you want. Kappa, Massa, Granadi in that order. Tween in P4 through the foot bath. And again, there's nothing to split the two apart in the lead. Kappa, Massa. Massa continuing to try and take the lead away from Kappa, trying to reel him back in. It's still too close. Granadi versus Tween. Granadi having a solid advantage. Massa versus Kappa. Can Kappa pull something together? No, the win will be for Team Big with a 0.521. Very, very solid race up front though. And in the round in general, 3/10 between first and last in the round. So Big with an early lead. Still salvageable at this point in the map. Massa this time having a bit of a blunder at the transfer, so he will fall back down to 4th. And actually conceded quite a bit of time, close to 0.4 of a second. Tween battling it out with Granadi for the lead. Kappa also right there in the mix in 3rd, waiting to pounce. Granadi not letting up on the issue though, continuing to fight tooth and nail for the first position in the round. But now Kappa makes it a 3-way fight for said lead. Massa 4/10 down. He's going to have to rely on a mistake up front if he wants to improve his position. Granadi trying to go full send. Oh, but he's going to be touching the pole on the inside. This is the pivotal moment in the round right there. Come on. We can take the ace, and indeed we will take it with a 101.641 despite the comeback from Massa and Granadi finishing within 4 thousandths of each other. And that means we take the lead in the proceedings. 5-3. We are halfway there. Come on! We take those. Allez les gars, on y croit. There's my little bit of French blurb there. On peut le faire. Kappa a little bit slower before the transfer, so he's going to be left behind like a free electron there while the Nucleus continues its march up front. 0.3 of a second between Kappa and the top 3 battle. And Massa with a very, very solid line right there. Moving up into the lead of the race, though, with slower speeds from the plastic part. He gets reeled in by both Tween and Granadi, overwhelming him for 1st and 2nd, respectively. And now the battle for the lead is still going to be a very, very tough fight between these two. No! Oh, that's so painful. That is such a hard stopping from Tween, but Kappa is also right there to try and snatch the point back in. Massa's a little bit slow through the first part. Second part, come on Martin, come on Martin. Oh, he slides out a little bit. Massa is also a little bit teetering on the edge. We still salvage a point from that. We continue leading, albeit by a single point. Oh, my heart. My poor heart. I don't know about yours. Oh, holy, sorry for the swear words, but holy shit. Martin coming in clutch with the save of the singular points. Kappa pushing it like hell. Pushing like a hell, as an Italian F1 driver would say. Ooh, Kappa going so close. He's pushing so much at this first jump before the transfer. And Massa will be down in the doldrums. He's forced to respawn. This is our time to strike. Ooh, Tween going so close to the edge of clipping right there. Granadi, the only man standing between us and an ace, potentially. Kappa now taking charge, trying to move up into 2nd position ahead of Nico. Martin and Marek, 1st and 2nd. Can we make it stick up until the very end? Granadi is not giving up without a fight. He haven't had his word yet. Identity. Oh, Tween looking very slow, allowing everyone to group back up. It's a 3-way fight for the lead. Granadi will be touching the outside pole. Tween moving back up into the lead. Kappa up into 2nd position. Granadi continues to hang on for dear life. Come on, let it go. He's let go. And that means we move up to 9-5. My God, it is happening. We might be the first team to defeat Big this season. That might very well happen. 9-5. Ladies and gentlemen, clap with me. One more round. We gotta get it. 9-5. A singular 2nd place will make it for Sinners. Okay, first checkpoint. Everybody clearing it nice and easy. We'll try that checkpoint, even though it's the irrelevant 0.795 for Massa. Whoa, this is looking a little bit closer than the last round for sure. Massa this time manages to clear the first jump nice and safely. Massa, Granadi 1st and 2nd, reclaiming the lead. Moving on to the plastic part. Whoa. And continuing to lead, Masa and Granai, but this time Kappa with a bit more speed compared to Masa. Can we try to dislodge Masa for that second place? We need just that 1 point. That 1 point. We need to play quick maths. We gotta put on our best Alain Prost impression and do the calculations. Oh, Kappa, come on. He's trying to reel in Dennis. Go on, Martin. Go on. We can do it. Look at this. Masa slow on the entry. Kappa up to second place. Sweden is landing the shoulders. They're gonna rely on Kappa. Granadi falls down. I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. No. Kappa falls off the map. Where's Tween? Kappa up into second place still. Ladies and gentlemen, for the second time in a row this week, Sinners take the win. We won. I would like to go louder and higher, but I can't. My throat is absolutely dead.